Okay, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Swaggle News Network. We are having a show today, and it's going to be about Liberia and what has been happening in Liberia lately. We are going to be talking about the impeachment of Kabinet Ja, Associate Justice Kabinet Ja today. We're going to tell you the reason the government gave and also the other side opinion. We're going to give you both sides of the argument, and then you'll be the judge. So, the reason that was given by the government of Liberia for the impeachment of Associate Justice Kabinet Ja, and I quote, they said he was involved in some corruption and bribery and theft and so on. So the government decided to actually follow the process through the House, and they voted last year to impeach him, and the final voting was done just Friday by the Senate, and 22 senators voted to impeach Associate Justice Kabinet Ja. So first of all, I want to talk about the rumors that we are hearing about this situation. The rumor that we are hearing is that Associate Justice Kabinet Ja was impeached by President Weah because he's from Nimba and he's a Madingo man. That's not true. Don't believe it. Just leave it as it is on that side. It's a rumor. Let's leave that as a rumor. But and also the government is talking about the main thing they are actually focusing on was Supreme Court Associate Justice Kabinet Ja granting a rate of prohibition petition by petroleum dealers in the country to stop the government from collecting levy taxes of US 25 cents rule from imposed on the pump price of petroleum. So 22 senators voted to impeach him. First of all, I want to talk about corruption in Liberia, or in Africa as a whole. Liberia is so corrupt that even the fly in the president's office are corrupt. Even the flies in the president's office will ask you for money to allow you, for them to allow you to see the president. So I don't want to believe it's actually mainly because of corruption. So, and then some of the senators decided to vote against the bill in favor of Kabinet Ja, so that Kabinet Ja cannot be impeached from the Supreme Court. And these senators did not agree with the president. And just a few days ago, Senator from Magibi County, Oscar Cooper, accused the pro tem of actually giving bribe to senators in order for them to vote in favor of the bill to impeach Kabinet Ja. According to Oscar Cooper, each senator was getting $50,000 US. So now I ask myself, why is President Weah so into impeaching Kabinet Ja? What is his motive? Why? Why is he so much concerned about impeaching Kabinet Ja from the Supreme Court? And nothing comes to mind. What comes to mind is, I'll take you guys back to 2017 presidential election. What happened then? When the Liberty Party, the UP, and the ANC took the Independent Electoral Commission to the Supreme Court to look into election malpractices that occurred during the election. What happened was that Justice Kabinet Ja was the only person on the bench that was, focused on following due process. So he did not want the court to just dismiss the case. He wanted the court to follow due process and give the plaintiff time to submit all the evidence, to support their case. But then, it was based on this that the CDC and President George Weah actually had grudge against Justice Kabinet Ja. And George Weah, right now, what he intends to do with Liberia is that he wants to have a rubber stamp legislature and a rubber stamp Supreme Court so that he can do whatever he wants to do without being questioned. We all know in a democratic society, we have check and balances. The judiciary explains the law, the executive executed the law, and the legislature made the law. So, we has a tendency of imitating dictators around the world, including some from our own country, which is Charles Taylor. That's why I have problem with him choosing Charles Taylor's wife as his running mate, because that dictatorship, has not left that family. So, and our people say, show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are. So these are some of the things that I think, and the other side think, is the main reason behind President Weah trying to get rid of Kabinet Ja. And then secondly, President Weah has not been performing up to expectation, or he has actually not lived up to his promise so far. Almost 2 years into his term as a president. So the current Chief Justice is going to be retiring very soon. Okay? And then who is next in line to succeed him? Justice Kabinet Ja. With that said, if we should have an election in 2023 and George Weah happen to lose that election, so where do we go with election dispute to the Supreme Court? And by then, who's going to be the Chief Justice? Kabinet Ja. This is a problem. So if Kabinet Ja is going to be the Chief Justice, by the time we go into the election in 2023, and George Weah happen to rig the election, Kabinet Ja is not going to rule in favor of George Weah. He's going to follow due process. And now that makes Kabinet Ja a official enemy to President George Weah and the CDC party. Maybe that's why the pro-tem Albert Chi was busy distributing money in order to get Kabinet Ja out of the way. So now whosoever get in there now is going to be a freshman. That person does not have power to succeed the outgoing Chief Justice. So that's the main reason that we think President Weah is so busy trying to get rid of Justice Kabinet Ja. It's nothing about tribalism, it's nothing about NIMBA, it's just political, period. Now, what's going on now in the country is this. Okay, what is going on right now in the country is this. President George Weah has lost focus of his government. And the government in Liberia right now is just doing whatever they want to do. There's no sense of direction. Weah is not focused. Everything is just going, everybody just doing whatever thing they want to do. That is not how you run the country. So those senators that actually voted against, the senators that voted for Kabinet Ja, in favor of Kabinet Ja staying in the Supreme Court, were Steve Zako from Lofa County, Komine Wiza from River G, Daniel Nathan from Bapolu, Sandro Johnson from Bombing, Dr. Herring F. Toba from Bon County, Mark County, Nyambli Danga from Bassa, Oscar Cooper from Magili County. So those are the senators that voted to keep Kabinet Ja in the Supreme Kabinet Ja on the bench. Now, that I've explained to you the reason behind this situation. And I'll probably feel like if the information we have in hand now, if it is true, then the losers and winners of this thing, or this whole saga would be those senators that voted to keep Kabinet Ja, because we need to have check and balance in our government. You know, we cannot have the executive branch dominating the whole government. You know, we have to have check and balance. That's why there is a reason. That's the reason why we have the legislature, we have the judiciary, and we also have the executive. So everybody should stay in their lane. So what Mr. President wants to do, he wants to control both wings, and he's part of the government. That is completely undemocratic. We cannot have that in our country. So those 7 senators that voted to keep Kabinet Ja in the Supreme Court are our hero today. And those that voted to kick him out, well, history will judge you. Now, we are going to go to the segment that we call Advice for a President. But before that, there's a breaking news. I just heard President Josh Manewiya has nominated Judge Yusuf Kaba as the next Supreme Court Associate Justice to replace the outgoing Supreme Court Associate Justice Kabinet Ja. He will be replaced by Yusuf Kaba. So that just happened by the president. He nominated him today. So we'll see how that unfolds as time goes by. And before we get to the last segment, we have in our show called Advice for Mr. President. I want to first of all talk about why we are here. If your intention is to watch us talk about what you see on your TV screen in Liberia or in your newspaper in Liberia, well, you got it wrong. That's not what we're going to do here. We are going to give you the news according to the truth. We are very objective, and we got our people on the ground that are going to go deep and deeper and get to the bottom of the story and give it to us. So we are not going to give you the same story that you see on your TV screen every day in Morovia, because they don't have that luxury like us to actually give you the truth. They are afraid of intimidation and all that stuff. That we are not afraid of nobody. We can stand in front of George Weah and talk to him with no fear or favor. So we are not afraid of George Weah or anybody in the CDC government. So now let's get to our segment that is called Advice for Mr. President. So this is going to be brief and simple. Dear Mr. President George Manewiya, here is my advice to you. When you came into power, before you, the price of rice was $1,000